Hey guys, welcome back. This is Adrian Boysel. Got a great Wisdom Wednesday episode for you today. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time, and it's actually going to be in my masterclass. So we're going to jump into it real quick. And I'm going to talk to you guys today about lead generation. That is a really big word that's been growing and growing in the industry of digital marketing for the last decade. And it's at probably its peak in popularity than it's ever been. And there's a lot of companies out there talking about lead generation, but there's not a lot of clarity about how that actually works. So what I'm going to do with you guys today is kind of take you through and show you how lead generation works from my perspective. So I got my whiteboard here, and what we're going to talk about first is property. So number one on the how-to of lead generation, it's property. So what you need to do first, if you want to generate leads, you have to build a property. And what I mean by property, that's either going to be a landing page or a website. Typically, and the preferred method for what we do in lead generation is we do both. We do a landing page and we do a website. And how the website works, we'll do that first, is we actually build a website that has unique and authoritative content. And what I mean by unique and authoritative content is uniquely written content that nobody else has ever written. You're not copying and pasting from other people's websites. This is out of your own mind and your own brain. We take that content, we write it specifically for your niche and for your business with the right keywords in there that are actually going to help you rank and show up at the top of the search engines. That's a really, really big deal. When it comes to landing pages, you are going to drive traffic to that landing page through paid advertising methods, whether that's a Facebook ad, a Google ad, an Instagram ad, LinkedIn, whatever that is. You're going to send your visitors through a channel of paid advertising. That's how that's going to work. And with the websites, you're going to send them through organic traffic, or what some call SEO. So you're going to build this property with content. And what I mean by content, there's going to be media like written content. You're going to have video content. You're going to have graphic content. So maybe you have an infographic, right? You have written content, you have video content, and you have graphic content. Those are three huge parts of content writing and content creation that we help business owners with every single day. Okay? So you have your property that you build that has a lot of great keywords, a lot of great images, a lot of great videos, really good content. It can even be audio content. That's another thing that people are putting on their websites nowadays. That's what you need to rank organically. And you need to create lots of that content. There's blogging, articles, there's all kinds of written content that you can put on your website to help drive traffic back to you. Now what happens is when you build this property, you're going to build it with all these keywords in mind and with all this content in mind. Now what you're going to need to do is number two, is you're going to need to know how to position your property. And what I mean by position is actually showing up on the search engines, whether it's organically or in paid. You're going to show up in places where your customers and your target audience is actually at, where they have visited. So that might be Facebook, that might be Instagram, that might be LinkedIn, and that might be Google. For me, if I'm doing organic rankings, I'm focused in on Google. 97% of search engines, or 97% of searches that happen online when people are looking for information are happening on Google search. So I want to show up for my content on a Google search. If I have a good ranking and I have sites that are pointing back to my site that have authority, and I've been mentioned online, whether it's social media, on other websites, or even local in my community, and people have tagged me or tagged my business, that's going to help me build authority to my website organically. That's a very big deal in terms of showing up and driving in leads. As you continue to do that, your business is going to start to rank and actually show up rather than being on, you have all these pages, right? 4, 5, rather than showing up on page 5 initially, then you're going to move to page 4, then 3, then 2, and then within each of these pages, you have ranks. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's running out of room here. But you can see here, you have position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5. On each of these pages, you have 10 positions organically that you can show up on. So my strategy for lead generation, since I've been doing this for such a long time, is to have two methods. I want my organic approach with my content and my written graphics, And then I want my paid advertising approach. So when people do search on Google for the keywords that I should be coming up for, I have a paid ad. So we're going to put paid ad up here. I have a paid ad, right? There's a paid ad section of Google Ads. Then you're going to have your maps. This is also an organic. I'm going to put a little US, draw this little US thing here. There we go. Doesn't really look like the US. And then you have your map listings and with all your competitors, and then you have your organic, right? And this is where the 1 through 10 happens. And then typically nowadays you have more ads here at the bottom. So my strategy is I want to be in these paid ads at least once. Then I want to be in these maps organically. Then I want to be in the maps with a little star here for a paid ad. Then I want to be organically at least once, if not twice, in here for that one specific keyword. With that type of positioning online and putting yourself at the forefront and being on there 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5 times, that's going to give you a way higher chance of generating the lead, generating the traffic, and generating the business back to your website. And then from there, it's actually making sure that that website, again, is relevant to the content that you've created, the video content, the graphic content, all that content needs to match up with what your ads are. It's very, very important. All right. So now the third and the most important piece of this, well, they're all important, but this is the key, because you can do all this work, but if at the end of the day, you're not making any money, what good was it? So what you have to do is you're going to have to figure out whatever the lead industry that you're in. Let's just say that you're in septic, right? So you're in the septic space, okay? The average septic owner is looking for deal. Septic construction company or engineering company or design company is going to be acquiring a deal, and that deal is going to be worth a minimum of $5,000, okay? That's a $5,000 ticket, we're gonna say. Okay, now through that $5,000 ticket, they have a budget, a marketing budget of what they're going to be willing to spend to acquire that customer. For me, what I usually tell clients is anywhere between 10 and 15% is a realistic budget. So if I have a $5,000 customer, I'm gonna be spending between $500 and $750 to generate that customer. Now keep in mind, every lead that you bring in is not going to become a customer. So we're talking about final landed customer acquisition cost. So if you want to actually land a customer for $500 to $700, you got to do the math. So if I'm going to create a Google ad or an organic ad and I send somebody to my website or to my landing page, and let's just say I get 10 visitors to my website, okay? 10 visitors, and out of every 10 visitors I get, I'm converting 1 lead, okay? Now, each one of those leads, each one of those visitors, if it's organically, it doesn't cost you anything other than the time that you spent to create the content and rank the site. But if it's a paid ad, let's just give an example. If it's a paid ad and it costs you $10 for each one of those clicks, right, that goes to your site, now you have 10 clicks, that's gonna cost you $100 to generate that lead. Now, let's just say your closing ratio is 20%. So you have $100 times 5, let's just say you're sending 10 leads. So you have 100 leads that are coming into your website, or 10 leads, you're spending $100. Now you close 20%. That's actually going to cost you $500 for that customer acquisition. So what you need to be at is about a $10 click. You need to convert at least 1 out of 10, and you need to close at least 20% in order for you to hit that $500 mark. If you're closing at a lower ratio, that's where this cost is going to go up. As a lead generator, my responsibility is to bring you the lead. Outside of that, your job is to convert that lead and close it if you're a business owner, my client or a business owner. So that, in a very quick nutshell, is how lead generation works. There are some other strategies and other approaches that you can take to it that I have implemented even myself. Aside from paid advertising, I do a lot of stuff with YouTube. I do a lot of event geofencing. There's other strategies of driving the traffic to your website, and some are more cost effective than others. But that is really the overall real quick snapshot of how lead generation works. So if you guys have any question about lead generation, you want to talk to me about it, I'd love to chat. This is what I do every single day. This is my big mission for 2020. We're building over 1,000 websites over the next 3 years in just the lead generation space alone. So love to talk to you guys more about it. Definitely drop a comment. I'm all about criticism and feedback and getting better. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And as always, keep looking up.